First of all, congratulations. I know you
Thank
just
you.
landed the offer this week, right?
Yes, just yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday, and today I got the official offer letter. So just before, like 15 minutes before our call, I got the official offer letter, the onboarding documents to everything. Yeah.
My goodness, and you start Monday, is that right?
I know in Jan, so they're gonna be
Jan
like,
even
yeah,
better. Okay, you
better.
can go into the holidays with, like, just peace of mind, no more applications, no more interviews, just relaxation for a month.
Yes, a
That's
month. Yes,
fantastic.
a month. Yeah, I get
I
to
love
celebrate
that.
holidays.
Yes, with no stress of what will happen in the new year. Oh, that's the best feeling. I'm so happy for that, and I love
Yes,
that you have a break until you start because
before.
you know that
Yeah.
job search is a full-time job. You know that better than anyone, I'm sure, right? And it's
Yeah.
not easy, and having a month off between the opportunity, getting the offer, enjoying the holidays with your friends, your family, that's the best. Okay, so
It
fill me
is.
in because I just got this email from you. I know it just happened. Maybe let's start from the beginning. Tell me more about when you first joined HR Star. What were you struggling with? Why did you decide to join at that time?
Yeah, I would love to, Irina. So, I had moved to Toronto this March, so from Sri Lanka, from March till July. So I've been applying. So for 4 full months, so I have been applying and everything. I've been basically trying every single like option available to me. But then I wasn't get. I mean, I wasn't going anywhere, so I was still stuck. So I wasn't getting any like zero calls. So then I I met you on LinkedIn, and then I got this invite only session. You had this session in July, so it was this masterclass you did. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to just I mean I just wanted to check it out. So then I did, and that was like the reality check I needed. I remember your words like to this day. So it was like you mentioned nothing's gonna happen like miraculously, which is gonna like land you interviews like right after the summer. So you mentioned that like if you want to be like interviewing and then if you want to get hired at the end of this year, so you need to be having interviews in September, October. So these months you need to be so in order to land those interviews, you need to be like
Takes
getting the
time.
calls. Yeah. So
Yes.
you should be getting the calls like right now. So I wasn't getting that. So I was like, okay, that's the reality check I needed. So that's
It's a
why I
hard pill
decided
to
to.
swallow, but,
It is.
it's like the way I think of it, it's a tough message to deliver, but if you for 4 months have done everything you know how to do, right? And you mass applied and you tried and you tried and you tried, and the result of that is 0 interviews, doing more of that, doing that for another 4 months or 8 months or 12 months will often lead to the exact same result, more of the
True.
same. Right? So it's like we have to change the approach, right? And okay, you heard that message loud and clear. You're like, okay, this is the
Yes.
message I needed to hear. And what happened next?
Then, okay, oh my gosh. So it was this bright, sunny day in July. So I decided to join the program. And then because I had to be hired like yesterday. So that's what's amazing in your program, Irina, because it has everything for everyone, like whatever the stage that they're in. Like if you wanted to be hired like yesterday, by all means, you could just start as soon as possible, like move forward. And then if you wanted to take like, I'm not in a hurry, then that was available as well. Like it's self-paid
Yes, take your
that.
time. And it's like there's
Exactly.
no pressure because that's why I like to structure the program like whenever until you don't need support. If you
Exactly.
needed to take the summer off but still wanted to do a couple things on your resume, take it. And that's why I always ask people, what's your goal? Like, do you need to be
True.
hired yesterday or is it that you're okay with being hired in like September, October, and what's the goal? And that changes the next moves, right? So for
It
you, you're like,
is.
okay, I moved to a new country. First of all, you've done a lot this year. If we look back, my goodness, moving from Sri Lanka to Canada in March and then
Yes.
already starting applying for months, that's amazing. So there's a
Thank you.
lot of things that you're doing when I'm sure you're setting up all aspects of a brand new life here, right? And that's not easy as an adult to immigrate. And then, okay, making the decision to invest in yourself and like, okay,
It
you
was it
you
was a
need this.
hard it was a hard decision because My
Yes.
husband and I, we both weren't getting any calls, so we both were unemployed. All we had was the savings that we brought here, so it was, running out. So it was like difficult decision to make. Like it was a huge investment, but then
It
we
is.
decided because I had my husband's support as well. He was amazing. So he supported me in this decision in order to, go ahead with the program. So even though it was like a financial like commitment, a big commitment, but we both saw it as a future investment for ourselves. So we went ahead with it. And then immediately after, so I moved fast. So I booked the call and then it was Irene, I must tell, like I enjoyed every bit of those trainings and learnings. It was a self-discovery. It was like I'm going down the memory lane, I'm collecting, I'm reflecting on my experiences. I'm finding my story, my
Yeah.
voice, I would say. It was amazing. And
I
then
love
I enjoyed everything, like, because writing a resume, like, from scratch was like, it was a huge deal. But I enjoyed every bit of it because I was discovering my own self through that process. And then I did the transformation with you. I had the one-on-one, and then my resume was done completely. And then I started applying, and in less than 3 days, I started getting callbacks, like multiple interviews. I had interviews like every other day, like some weeks, like all 5 days, I've had interviews. It was,
Oh my goodness,
I
that's a
know,
lot to go
that's a
from
lot.
0 to, like, every day. That's a lot of pressure and
It is.
preparation that goes into interviews, especially when you've never interviewed in this country before, right? That's a lot. That's very different. I remember meeting you in August because we had the Career Cravings Live, and
Yes.
you were there and, like, just giving you a hug, and can you tell me more about that? Because that was very early on, maybe, like, 3 weeks after your resume.
It was 10 days. I
10
counted. It was
days, right,
just
10
10
days.
days. 10
They
days. It was
remind
like
me
I
of
got my
that.
first offer. It was just 10 days after that. It was
10 days
amazing.
after your resume transformation, you got your first offer.
I did. I did. It
That is
was
so validating to be like,
it
"No, I can get offers, I can get interviews." And I remember you also struggling with making the decision. Is this the
yes.
right offer for me? Is it the right place? And ultimately, it wasn't the right one,
I
right?
wasn't because I really you not only the transformation and also like the storytelling to everything. Not just that, I think something else you told me was, finding your worth, like what is your real value, like,
Yes.
and then that value alignment, the goals and everything, and then identifying all the red flags, what are the good companies and what would you want in your next employer. So I was able to, like make a conscious decision because of all of that. I didn't see the
Yes.
value alignment, so I won't be happy if I had accepted this. So I didn't
I'm
see
so
that.
glad you didn't. Can I ask you this weird question? I've never asked anyone this before. If you didn't have the success with multiple interviews happening with multiple companies, multiple options presented, would you have had the courage to say no to this offer?
No, I discussed the same thing with my husband too. So I was like, had I received this offer maybe back in April, May, I would have just went ahead because I was in that state where I would
Yes.
just accept
There's no
almost
other options, no
anything.
other
I
choice.
didn't have any other choice, but then I had options to choose from. I was actively interviewing, so amazing companies. So altogether, Irina, I had from August up until this December. I didn't have any interviews because I got the offer in like for like just few days before, just yesterday actually. So yeah, so from August to December, I had 15 different companies, interviews with 15 different companies. It was like
Wow.
multiple levels of interviews. Like I went to final interviews, like panel interviews, in-person ones, or
Wow.
like all kinds of interviews. So I had like options to choose from. So I had built my confidence by that time, which I didn't have before.
Yes.
So had I received this offer like maybe back in April, May, I would have just, jumped on it. Like I would have accepted it
Yes,
without any
you
thought.
and your husband are not working. There's no other interviews. Like, of course, it would be the rational thing to do to be like,
Yes,
I will land this until something better comes along, right?
exactly. Yeah,
And that's where many new immigrants start accepting roles that they're not happy in at all that are
Of course.
beneath their value because just because you have to start somewhere. And I love
Yeah,
hearing like the best thing I can hear from you is the confidence piece because that stays with you for the rest of your career to
it
know
is.
your
It is.
value in the market, right? So I love that. Let's go back to some aha moments. So you mentioned the resume process. So many people listening don't know what that actually looks like. And many people will think, like, they'll come to the masterclass and they'll think, okay, I should improve my resume because I'm not landing interviews. I'm going to do it myself. And then where they go is online, they try to make a couple quick edits to like add more numbers, make it a little bit better without doing the deep reflection about what makes you a really great candidate for your specific target role. And that discovery process often leads to a lot more confidence because you see the link between how amazing you would be in the role and who you are. And that makes a really big difference for the callback rate as well. So I'd love to hear what aha moments did you have going through this journey? I'm sure there were a couple.
Yeah, there were actually. So the resume transformation was one of the main ones, Irina, because I mean, like you mentioned, I've had, tried to DIY it myself before, like based on
Yes.
all the resources that, I mean, in terms of resources, there are multiple resources available, like
Yes.
everywhere. So,
ChatGPT now, right?
I
And
mean, everything
you
is
can
there,
Google
right?
resume templates. Like you can get,
Exactly.
yeah.
But then why aren't you getting any traction is the problem, right? But then like it's not just any other transformation. So like you mentioned, like that reflection was like, oh, then I realized oh, I've been focusing on the wrong things, or I've been applying because I've been applying to almost every single role I saw. So that wasn't getting me anywhere. So I was able to understand my true value, like your value proposition. So you're still there, right?
Okay. Heads up, a new recording track created. Okay, whatever.
Okay.
I'll figure it out. Something on
Something
my
happened. You can hear me, right?
yes, yes, I hear you, I
Per-
see you, it's perfect on my end, but I saw I dropped for a second, which
yeah. But we are back on now. So yes, we are back in. So yeah, where were we? The aha moments, right?
yes, like the target roles. I'm
Yes.
hearing you started applying to specific type of roles that you were targeting?
Yes, I was. And also another main important point is Irina, that mindset shift. So you could be doing everything right. You could have the best coach in the world and you could have the best resume. But then if you don't have that mindset shift, if you don't believe in yourself, that you still won't be getting ahead, right? So because that was like I hadn't thought of that before in that way, but then you mentioned that in the programs and also at the Career Cravings conference as well, when you mentioned you need to listen to the live squad visuals and then you need to listen to those things and then you need to change that mindset. I was like, yeah, that actually works. It's not woo or anything. Like it's science-backed information. Like neurologists have shared the same thing. So I was like, yeah, there has to be something real about this. Because then only I started attracting more opportunities. Like when I started thinking more positively, it's not just for the sake of thinking positively, like be intentional about it. Like, because this is my future I'm talking about. So then I had to take it seriously. So that was like a huge aha moment for me because that mindset shift. Because I could be doing everything right, like the best coach, best resume. But then if I still think that maybe it's too big for me, maybe, I might not be ready yet. Because if I don't believe in myself, how am I gonna convince someone else? So that was like a aha moment for me. That mindset shift was everything.
Know how much I believe in this, but like, yes, it's a little bit, but let's just think about this. If anyone, if we don't believe we are worthy of something, even if we land those interviews, but we believe we are not worthy of them, what will happen subtly, you'll say things in the interview that push the opportunity away because you are uncomfortable with this level of opportunity, right? So someone can ask you about, I don't know, your strengths for the role, and just little subtle answers will sound different. Or if you don't believe that you're worthy of or that you are the right candidate for this target role, why would you even apply? Because
Exactly, true.
I wouldn't do something that I knew I there would be no possibility for me to land. That's just a waste of time, right? And at the end of the day, if you don't believe it's possible, you're not going to take the aligned action that
True.
would be in line with actually having that opportunity in the end. So I love that. It starts with us. If we don't believe it, like how would we ever convince someone else of our value? They don't know us, right? They've never met us. So even little things will make people uncomfortable, like changing their pitch or their tagline on LinkedIn to be stronger and more confident when they don't believe they're worthy of that opportunity. If you were going into interviews thinking, oh my goodness, I just got to this country a couple months ago. This is not aligned. I don't deserve this. If you thought that, you wouldn't be invited back to the next interview or be getting those offers, right? Because they'd be able to sense that there's no, so hard to act differently than in accordance from what we believe. So love that takeaway.
It
Anything
is.
else?
Well, yeah, actually, the local experience part, it used to hone me back then, but then it didn't afterwards. Like, you taught me how to answer those questions as well, and, how to address the gaps and everything. So I gained my confidence, and then I started believing in myself, and I found my voice, I would say. That was a big aha moment as well. So I found my voice, my true skills, capabilities, and also where I what's the impact I want to make, and then what's the story I want to be telling. So I was able to realize that, and then I was able to navigate or like have a goal. So I had my goal and I had my timeline, and I consistently worked towards it. So another aha moment was, you need to be committed because it's my future I'm talking about. So it's I have my I mean only I can control. Like, there are things that I could control, and then you taught me that as well. Like, there are external factors that are out of my controls. I shouldn't be wasting my time, energy on those things. Rather, I should be focusing on what is in my control, and then I should be doing more of those things to improve myself, like my storytelling, my interviewing skills and all that. So that was another part which I really loved, because that really it works, and you need that as well. With if I had like I mean, because even when I started like getting interviews and all of that, so it didn't mean that I passed every single interview. I would have gotten multiple, like, every single interview I go, then I would be getting offers, right? So I didn't get that. It didn't happen. So it's like, so I still had to be, like believe in that, and then had to be positive also. So I still had a goal and I was working towards that. And there were like, I had my weak points as well. So, and my husband was there for me. So I had a great support system, a great coach, a great resume, materials and everything. And also, like, whenever I felt like weak or like, some days I've had like multiple rejections as well, because it's only natural. So it happens, right? You can't control it. So my husband was there, like, he was like, he told me like, trust Irina, trust Irina. So trust the process. He was reminding me of that. He was so supportive. Even when I was like, some days I used to cry. So then he was like, no, trust Irina, HR star. See how many of like successful candidates are there. So it's like, he used to remind me of that. And then I was like, you know what? I got this. So I'm back on my feet, and then I'm focused. That was amazing. Yeah, I think those things were my aha moments.
So having a support system in your corner is everything. And there will be times you need to cry. Like rejection is difficult, right? It's
It
like
is.
hearing sometimes we think we're going to get an offer. We thought the interview went perfectly, and then they still go with another candidate. And it is a part of the process. Like the way I look at it at final interviews, if you went all the way through, first of all, you made it past hundreds and hundreds of other people that did. And then at that point, it's still 50-50 because they likely have one other great candidate as great as you often at that end stage. And it's so difficult. And I have cried myself. I've been rejected myself. And I know that feeling. It is the worst. But that skill of resilience, like you did, like to be like, okay, I am sad. I'm going to feel my feelings. It does not feel good. I'm going to speak to my husband about it. and then I'm going to get right back up the next day, 2 days later, however long it takes, and I'm gonna keep trying because things are working and you had faith it was going to work out, which is so, so important. So that's not easy. Like, how did you have faith? If someone's listening to this and they're thinking, okay, it's difficult for me right now too. Like what kept you getting back up, keeping applying, keep going to the next interview? Like what else kept you going in those hard times?
Actually, podcasts too, Irina. So I used to listen to them. So sometimes even before an interview, so if I wanted like a booster, like a energy booster, so I used to listen to those. So like those kept going. Like I whenever I wanted that, so I got introduced to podcast little later. So I had like lots of episodes to cover. So whenever I wanted some boost, energy boost, I used to listen to those as well. Those stories. So whenever I heard like your client success stories, I remember I told myself it's gonna be me someday. Very soon I'm gonna be sharing my stories. I used to tell myself that. Those kept me going, kept me focused as well. So I so badly wanted to share my story. So I was like, it works. So if I those things helped me as well. And also it was so difficult because sometimes I just saw it. I got so close to it. So like it happened to me like 5 times. So I got introduced to the team, like they showed me around the office, like they told me like how great I am, and then you can sense, like you can see from the body
Well, when they're
language.
showing you around, I've had that too. That's a sure sign of like, why would they waste their time if they didn't think they were gonna hire you?
Exactly. They introduced me to the team as well. Like they showed me like every corner of the office. I was like, oh, I got this. But then I got rejected. And then it was still amazing experiences. I wouldn't have achieved any of those. Like it was still a learning. And then I've got great feedback, Irina. So your framework, it actually works. And also like, the interview skills and then the storytelling, like I didn't feel any of my interviews like interrogations. I was not a single interview where I didn't know the answer for anything. Like I didn't have to struggle. I didn't have to, cause so at some point I was like, oh, why do I still get rejected? I was like, I'm doing everything right. Like I felt that too. But then I never got to say like, I'm sorry, I don't know about that. Or I never got to say that because I was prepared to every single interview and then my pitch was ready. I customized it every single time. Not my resume, my pitch. So I followed to the letter. So I followed everything to the letter because I had so much trust in the framework. So because it worked. So, and I got amazing feedback. So there was during one interview, they interviewed me for like 1.5 hours, like physical interview with one head of HR and then another senior generalist. They told me like at the end of the interview, the head of HR was like, I wish I met you like 3 months ago. Then we won't be having this conversation. You have the exact same profile, like your test results are the exact same profile that I have. Maybe we could have a conversation. Maybe later on we could build on that. They were giving like all those amazing feedback. So that boosted my confidence even more. Like I was like, oh, I have that. But then I got rejected. But then I thought maybe it's something else. So it's out of my control, but then I still got those feedback.
We can do the best thing possible, and then they hire an internal candidate, or like the role gets taken off the market, or they just have someone with that edge of like working in that exact industry in the same country, blah, 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 more aligned. And we cannot do anything about that. But I love that you knew you're showing up at your best. You're showing up confidently. You're getting that great feedback. You're building relationships with people. Now, actually, what I'm thinking for you, I was just thinking this as another thing just to keep in mind, but like even those people, you have the most positive mindset. Going back and just writing them all a nice note to how lovely it was to get to know them and keeping them in your network for future, because you never know, in 5 years you might want to upgrade and be looking for that next opportunity, and now you're going
True.
to have like 15 companies you had amazing interactions with that
Yes.
really enjoyed speaking to you as well, and it's so amazing. Okay, so tell me the great news. We haven't broke down what happened. Walk me through this offer. What's having you excited about it? I know you literally just received it, but tell me all the good stuff.
So,
How
oh
did
my
it
God.
even happen? Break it down.
It was, oh my gosh. So it was this company name is AMS. So it was founded in the UK, and then they have expanded businesses to Americas as well. So they have like multiple offices across the world. They're a big player, and then they are an MSP RO, so that's what they do. And they've been in Toronto for like almost 20 years now, and they have the most amazing culture. Then the hiring manager was so amazing throughout, very professional. So I love everything about it. And then the role, oh my gosh, I that's the role I wanted, the exact role I wanted. I was like, there were points where I thought, oh my gosh, I might have to do something, like more junior. Maybe I'll have to start as a admin or like, maybe a coordinator. So those were the roles I was targeting initially. But then once I got my reality check and once I got my confidence back, I was applying for more roles which are like more aligned with what I want to become. So then this is a TA specialist, and it's exactly what I wanted. It involves a lot of like stakeholder management, strategic level like interactions, and it has everything. So it's the dream role I ever wanted, Irina. And also it comes with great pay, benefits, and then top of it, like the company values, and those are fully aligned with my own values as well. So I want that value alignment. I mean, that's something I look
So
for.
happy for you. It
It
sounds like it checks
happened.
all of the boxes, and
It
I
checked
hope
everything.
now you see, like, why it didn't work out with some of the others and
Yes.
how amazing it was not to accept the first offer, which you
My
very
gosh.
easily could have. It was probably easier to say yes than no, right? So
Yeah, it is.
I'm so happy to hear this. And I know you're starting in the new year. This will come out in the new year, but that is freaking amazing. What are you most excited about?
Working, and most excited about is like I'm excited about the value that I could bring and then the impact I'm gonna make. And I really want to leave a become a positive influence. So that's what I'm most excited about, be my best self, like give my best. So that's what I want to. So I truly believe in making a difference. So in TA, we have that ability to make a difference in other people's lives. So that's what I'm excited more about. Like I'll be supporting those, I'll be supporting the business. I'll be making differences in other people's lives. So by connecting the dots, like giving them opportunities. So I'm excited for that, honestly.
Be on the other side of the table now in
Yes.
this role.
Yes.
And I think, first of all, you have such a beautiful positive energy. And you also have been on the other side of the table where you know what it's like, you know what candidates are going through. It's like for you to call them now, that feeling that they get, right? So it's like you're going to have a high bar, I think you're going to hold. You might actually recognize people inside of HR Start if you're ever hiring HR people,
Oh
and they'll
my
be
God.
like, that sounds like the pitch that I know very well. Okay, I love that so much. What would you say to someone who is on the fence? They're also maybe in the state that you were in July, kind of thinking, I want to join HR Star. Sounds like it works for people, but there's an investment involved and it might be a stretch and you weren't working at the time. So that was a really, really big decision. But what would you tell someone trying to make that decision now for themselves?
Yeah, so absolutely. So I would say if you're like hesitating or like if you're stuck and or if you're on the fence, so here's the truth. So nothing changes if you stay still. Like nothing's gonna change if you don't take any action. So I mean that leap feels scary. So for me it was because we both didn't have any income at that point, but then I still made that decision. I took that leap of faith. So do something, like don't feel stuck, or like, if you feel stuck and if you still don't do anything about it, so nothing's gonna change for you. So trust the process, and then like because you're gonna regret a lot later. So that leap, that scary leap that you feel right now, but it's so much smaller than the regret of not doing anything or not doing anything at all or just waiting for too long. So you'd have passed all your opportunities at that time. So that's the cost. So of not doing something about it. So also, yeah. So it's CoStar actually didn't give me just the tools. Like it gave me the strength, Irina, to be honest. Like it gave me the strength to show up fully, to trust my instincts, and then to step into the career I was actually capable of doing, which I didn't believe in previously, but then now I do. So it gave me that
It's done. Like, you're
it's
stepping
done.
into it. It's done, right?
It's done. So I'm so for anyone who's still on the fence, like I'm telling, like take action, like right now. It's your future. You are in control of the things that you want to do. So if you don't take any action about your future, then nobody else will do it for you. So you got one life, so you have to live it, and then you have to enjoy it, and you need to chase bigger dreams. I mean, never be afraid to dream big. Be afraid not to dream at all and not to do anything at all. So yeah, so align yourself and believe in yourself, like trust that you can do it. So because if you don't believe, nobody else will believe in you too. So you become what you believe. So that's what I have to say. Yeah.
Such a beautiful message. It's so true. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? And
It's
the pain of regret is often bigger,
bigger.
right?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm so glad that it worked out the way that it was, because I know it was a scary decision. Every time I still just recently invested and I renewed in my one-to-one coach for 12 months of business coaching. It is not cheap. It is very expensive. And each time I do it, I literally wonder, hell am I doing? Like, this is a lot of money. And every time I'm nervous. But the growth that I've seen happen, and I can measure that growth and that confidence. And for you, I loved, because in these cases, what you probably don't know or realize, when someone invests in the program, and especially in your case where you didn't have the resources and you believed and you took the leap and you trusted me, I feel pressure in that situation. And I can't always control what happens. And I do the best that I can, but I cannot control what happens. And you emailing me and saying 3 days later, you have multiple interviews, 10 days later, you have your first offer. I am just like over the moon, so excited for you. And now seeing you in a role, stepping into a role that is aligned with exactly what you wanted, that is your dream role, feel more confident, and you're starting a brand new career here. Like, there is nothing better in the world for me. Feeling like that way you're feeling, I'm feeling it right with you. So I so appreciate you sharing that with me, because it's a lot of stress as well. So I love hearing the really great results that you've had. It's been incredible to watch you grow and see your confidence shift through the process. Thank you so much. Anything that I did not ask you about that you want to cover? Anything we didn't cover that you think would help someone? Anything else you want to chat about?
Yes. Of course, I have to mention this too. I really loved coming into the HR staff program. So I didn't know what it looked like. So I had the masterclass, and then I had like brief of how it's gonna be. But then only once I got into it, so I realized how comprehensive it is, rich, how content rich it is. Like it has you've covered like everything, like each and every stage. Anyone in any level in their career has exactly what they need. So like the competency bank to everything, like not just resume part. So you have broken it down to so many pieces, like your executive summary, role summary, how to build on each and every bullet point, like experience point, how to do the reflection. Like it's so content rich. So, and the training videos are very like, they're not boring because they're long, really long, like 1 hour, like 1.5 hours, two
I try to
hours.
cover everything at every level. I'm like, if you are a director and you're asked about labor relations, this is what it is. If you are starting out in talent acquisition, entry level roles, this is what it is. And like, there's so much that could be covered. There's so many competencies you could be asked about. So I'm so glad that that was
Yes.
helpful for you.
It was. And then those aren't boring to listen to. Sometimes like it's boring to listen to like, like 1 or 2 hours like sessions. But then your videos are not. So they talk about exact same things, like, like exact things that you need to listen to, and then you need as, like as guidance or support and, directions and all of that. So it's not just anything. It's exactly the things that are like that you need to hear, and then you need to shape what you are gonna do. So it's very content rich. I have to mention that. So it's
For saying that. I have so much trouble explaining it because people think so in the age of AI today, right? They're like, well, I can go on YouTube and I can Google, I can find an answer of tell me about you, how to answer that. And explaining the difference is very, very difficult until you're actually inside. So
it's
that's really
different.
meaningful.
Yeah, it's not the tell me about yourself I learned like online. It's completely different. It changed the game for me. Like because I used to struggle with that part because I never got to tell about myself because I wasn't getting anything. So that was different. It's not something that you see like, every day. So it's you're telling your story through that. So your career trajectory, I think. Yeah, you mentioned something, and then the humble brags to everything. So it's so rich. So then you realize, oh, I see. This is what I need to be saying instead of that. So you have to come inside to learn that. Like you can't be like once you're just outside, you might not even see it the way I like. We say like inside the HR stuff, so it's different, and it really works. And it's actually like it really does work, Irina. So I saw multiple results. So it's not just, oh, you come to my program and then you don't see anything, but then you confidently say that, like 98% of my clients do that. So that was a big highlight for me because when I was making the decision, and then you say, I will teach you like until you don't need to. That was like a big, a promise and you confidently make that promise. So I was like, oh wow, I didn't see anything like this before. Like I have to.
I actually saw an amazing coach today. I was watching stories on Instagram and she's like, listen, right now the market is 9 months. And it is. She's like, it's between 6 and 9 months. And she's like, no coach can guarantee that it'll be less. And I'm like, of course, like, no, we don't have control over the whole process, but we can give you all the tools possible to do it in less. And if most people, 98% of people are landing it in under 3 months, and I will support until whenever that takes. I actually recently, I don't know if you saw in the group on the LinkedIn group, but there was one client who was also new to the country and he joined. He had a challenging profile because he was on a work permit, right? Just joined and we worked with him and he started interviewing, started landing interviews, which was amazing. But he ended up losing his work permit. That's devastating. And
It is.
I can't do anything about that, right? This is like so out of my control. He ends up still landing a role in the UK. And I'm like, this
Wow.
is amazing. So he was so happy with that. So he at first was targeting Canada, ended up losing the work permit, but the skills, he just transferred everything he's learned, continued to apply in the UK, and is so happy moving to the UK now. So
No.
there's things that will happen that are to your point, like we talked about, things in life even don't go sometimes as the way that we want, but knowing that you have support until whenever that is. And for you, I mean, things happened really quickly, so that's fantastic. But then you took the time to find the right, most aligned opportunity, knowing with your new self-worth, with your confidence, knowing what you're capable of, and it freaking worked. So I love that. Now, the program, so those were the online resources and our one-to-one, and then there's another element of this group coaching that you come into and you refine and you listen from others. Was there anything helpful from that, or what was the most helpful aspect there? I lost my microphone. That's why it was all crazy. Hopefully you can still hear me well.
Yeah, I
Hello?
can. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, Irina. So the group calls, like the community that you have built there, like because we were not alone in this, so I was able to realize that, like, it's not just me. It's like, there are the professionals out there, so who are actually navigating the same market. So it was reassuring. So to have like that support and then like have that community to, reach out to, speak to, and also like you share so many. I mean they have their own questions too. So sometimes, like for those who are not landing interviews, so those or maybe someone who has just started it, so they could learn from others. So there were like so much of resources shared within the group as well, and then the group calls. So we got to practice. Like if I mean. Even the group calls, like if you wanted to just silently, like if you're not comfortable with, interactions and all of that, you always got the recording, so which was amazing. And if you wanted to practice your pitch and ask any question that you have, so that was available to you as well. And then if you wanted to ask anything else, like you were available even for me, like how to negotiate my salary, like when I initially got the offer. So you were there, and then the same way you were supporting others as well. So every single person. So you would always like whenever they post a question, so you would sometimes draft long answers like this is how you should be, like maybe this you could be tackling it this way, maybe this might be a better answer. So you were doing all of that, like those were lengthy answers. Sometimes those were reply emails that you have drafted. So we all got to saw those. And then multiple people had like different levels of interviews, different questions, those curveball questions. So being in that group and then the weekly calls, so those gave me like hope and strength too, and also more knowledge because they were having different levels of interviews and multiple roles. So they had like faced different interview questions and obstacles and all of that. So since we were in the group and then the recordings were also shared, so I was able to go through them. Sometimes I was not live there, like I didn't join live, but then I could check the recording. So those were very helpful to, that is also another experience, another learning, which helped me. So yeah, that was amazing.
Love it. Love it, love it. There was so much we covered, so many tips for people as well, and so much hope and inspiration in your story, which I love. Thank you so much for joining me, sharing your story and being vulnerable and sharing the hard parts and the amazing parts. And please keep me updated in
I will.
January. When you're in the role, I wanna hear about how you're thriving. I wanna see you next year at the event, so I'll reach out. I'd love to see you there again, and I'm just so happy for you and what you have achieved, and I'm so proud because I know that it's not a simple, snap of the finger and now, oh, you're just in a new role. I know it took a lot of resilience and perseverance and time and energy, and you did it with such grace. So, so proud of you and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Irina. So for anyone like, oh my gosh, it does work. So I've had so much, like such great feedback. I would never have been able to achieve those. To be very honest, there was once this director. So he did reject me, but then he used to reach out to me like um once a month and ask, "Hi, how are you doing?" So he used to share me materials. This is how I teach my team. So he rejected me because he thought that I'm like I had more experience, so he wanted someone very junior. So he rejected me because of that. But then I was like amazed. He used to reach back to me and ask like, "How are you doing? Is there anything else that I could help you with? These are the materials." It happened. I was like, how I couldn't believe that.
True impression and a connection
Yeah.
is no one would go out of their way to do that. You should really nurture that relationship even now that you're working because maybe he'll have a more senior role come up in 3 years and think of you first, right? So it's like
Yeah.
from time to time, maybe even every 6 months, checking in, just kind little things. And you have now, through this process, built a network,
I
right?
have, yes, I have, Irina. And there was another hiring manager who told me like in the very first interview, oh my gosh, I'm putting you to the next one. So I'm very confident. And even this job offer I got, so the recruiter when they called me to offer the role, he said without having to do another senior director interview. So we are offering you. So hiring manager is so confident in you. So we're not gonna be doing another like discussions. Initial recruiter call and then first interview, second interviews. That was it. Initially in
Last stage.
the last stage, but they wanted to have like a senior direct interview as well. But then that didn't happen. So they were like, we're so confident in you. We didn't want to do that. So we want to proceed with the offers. It was like amazing news to hear. So he even
Amazing.
congratulated me, like saying, congratulations for gaining that confidence from the manager. So it was like, yeah, I would never have been able to achieve this without HR star or your guidance, like programs,
So
podcast, and everything.
beautiful.
It was amazing. Yeah, I'm so
So
glad.
kind. That is you. Yes, you took the tools. Some people, don't apply what they're learning, right? And it's like you took the tools, you put them into action. And I love that they were so confident in you to be like, you know what? There's not even they obviously didn't have anyone as a runner up to be like, no one else compares. Let's just cut this short. Let's save some time. Let's not lose her, right?
Yes,
In the
and
process. So I
I'm so
love that.
sorry. So sorry, the hiring manager. So another part, all my interviews went beyond the like exact times. It was like my very first interview, it went like almost 1.5 hours. The hiring manager didn't want to like. He was like, I don't have a hard stop. So, and then when I asked, like I had your interview questions materials, and then this time I badly wanted this. This was the exact role I wanted. I prepared. I gave it all, and then I asked, like, I dig so much into the company and what they've been doing and all of that. Then I asked some questions around, like, what like their recent changes. So then it that part, he even shared, like, he shared his screen. He showed me, like, the process, like the company, like, documents. He showed me, like, a presentation. He was like, "Oh, I have to pull this up," and then he shared me the screen, and then he took me through, like, because of the question that I asked. So he took me through the process, like, "Oh, this is how it is done," and you could see. I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing that with me." That is just, since, like,
That's a
company
good
info,
sign.
that was such a
Right?
good thing.
Like, obviously, he's investing time, he's going over, he could have when it's not going well, people are quick to get off the phone like, "Okay, thank you so much, we have no more questions, good day, see you later, see you never," and him sharing, going that extra mile, it often means they are also worried about losing you, right? Like, they also wanna make a good impression on you as the candidate to make sure you're interested, which only top candidates get that kind of treatment, right? Like, so you're able to show up as that top candidate for your dream roles, which
Yes.
is music to my ears.
That's what HR star gave me. Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, Irina, every single, like, it's well worth it. Like, I got even more than, like, not just the financial commitment I made. Like, I made friends for lifetime. Like, I met amazing professionals, and I have a great coach. And then at that program, HR star, it's lifetime. You have lifetime access there. And then if I wanted to, like, in a senior position, if I wanted to go back and say I had that, and then, I mean, it's there for me, like, lifetime. So it's just amazing.
Stepping into this new role, I know you have some time over the holidays. There is a 90-day module in there too. I don't know if you've seen it, 90-day plan
Yes,
to go
yes,
in with a
I
really
saw that.
so you're supported now. Yes, to your point, you have the resources even in 3 years, 2 years, whenever it is you're ready again. And I just can't wait to see you thrive and hear about how amazing you're doing. And I know our paths are going to cross like 10 more times in the future. So thank you so much for showing up. You're such a light. I've really, really enjoyed seeing your transformation through this process and seeing this huge smile on your face right now. It's everything. It's everything. So
Thank you.
congratulations. Enjoy your holidays
Thank
and
you.
keep me updated.
Of course I will. Thank you so much, Irina. You have a wonderful evening. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.